And welcome to the SmackDown preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by another one of Dadleyz, Michael Hamflett from WhatCulture, here to look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review SmackDown, but also the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a round of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. I prayed for this and it happened.
Oh, that's good stuff. It's all good stuff.
I prayed for it, and it didn't happen. So what does that mean?
Well, see, Nicholas, you normally sit in here and have to endure us like taking quite a while sometimes to get to the SmackDown card, or maybe starting with the SmackDown card and then taking quite a while before we get back to the SmackDown card.
Bit of a tangent occasionally.
It's been known.
So could you do, 20 minutes today?
None of that.
Yeah. I'm cool with that. I'm totally down with that.
Your enemy, or as AEW has taught me, one of your ops.
He's not strong enough to be my enemy.
has done you a bit of a favour. Because there was a card for this SmackDown, as put together and tweeted by the SmackDown GM. Can't remember his name. Saw his tweets, can't remember his name. For the audio listeners, I just tore it up. Because The Rock, if you've not heard, as you listen to this, I am very surprised you haven't. It's been everywhere. So the overnight Thursday hour time.
Yeah.
Let me just check the date. Yeah, thought as much. On the American calendar, on the 20th of February, exactly 20 shows after he said he was 20 steps ahead. On a date that, as it turns out, Cody Rhodes might have teased has been in the works since he tweeted on the 1st of February his plans for the month.
2.0 months away from night 2 of WrestleMania.
As we celebrate Jey Uso winning the Rumble from number
20.
The Rock will appear live on SmackDown tonight. We're switching roles here, Wilbourn. How are you feeling ahead of tonight's SmackDown?
To quote Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Vindication! I am, unsurprisingly, rather happy about this development, with the final boss coming back to mess things up. He's bold, he's disruptive, he's unpredictable, he's dangerous. He is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
We have covered this in a full... The entire morning news was dedicated
full-throated
to the Dwayner. We'll repeat much of that here, but if you want to go and watch all the sort of the news, how it broke, the details, the potential of everything that's going to happen tonight, it is all there just in case we missed something in this preview. I was going to say, this is where we get indulgent. I'd say we do on that video too, but this is where we can get a little bit indulgent in there. In the fun and games we have with you being the OTJ and all your tweeting birds and how you continue to get all this information 100% correct, 100% of the time. You're the only one with 100% record in the entire industry that I'm aware of. All the other journalists are kind of just, like, they're chasing pack, aren't they?
They're playing catch up.
Yeah, you're the final boss of wrestling media, once again. I saw this not through The Rock's tweet with an hastily made SmackDown breaking news graphic, nor did I see this through the Cody Rhodes thing at the start of February, which is a weird quirk.
Yeah.
Nor did I see it through Triple H's hastily put together press release. I'm glad he's there, if anything. I think I was probably the first person to know. I'm the game Triple H. I'm definitely in charge of this.
Strap in, said WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Levesque, when the final boss shows up at this time of year. The audience knows absolutely anything's possible. Everything could change in an instant.
Please don't change it in an instant. I wasn't... It was none of those things that highlighted that The Rock was back on SmackDown. It was Brian's tweet.
Yes.
Brian Weddick, SmackDown Photoshop correspondent, circling those dates, counting to 20, realising that you were the only one with the correct mapping out of all of this all along, and we'd been getting our dates wrong. You see, one of the ways I got my dates wrong was listening to you say 20 plus 8 for 3 weeks.
Yes. That was just to throw you off the scent.
Smart. You're always 20 steps ahead. That's how you remain the OTJ. I will never get the Eula fella off you.
I don't like spoiling things for too many
Thank
people.
you, yeah. No, I woke up.
It's not a prediction when I say it. As my catchphrase goes, it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler.
I love that one. That's one of your best.
That's mine.
Yeah, I like not a prediction, it's a spoiler. And that's the bottom line because Adam Wilbourn said so.
And WhatCulture is now in your city.
I do genuinely like that one. We'll explain why later on in this podcast. What's the other one you do? I'm going to take this news, turn it sideways and stick it straight up your candy ass. That is how it feels when you get one of these right. I woke up to various people effectively like wishing me the best for my day at work. Like I think me and Sige were tagged in quite a lot of similar tweets along the lines of, like, I hope you get through today all right. Like, try to avoid Wilbourn. I was like, I'm doing the fucking news with him. I'm covering SmackDown, mate. All that sort of stuff. Yeah, people know what to expect, I think, from this coverage today.
Well,
across, like, let's be real, across the news, across the preview, and might this sneak into WrestleCulture?
it might just edge its way in. We've got a bit of AEW's tiny wing discourse to get into.
I feel a bit of a. I got a bit of a cold.
Song's already written, mate. I can't change that.
Take these tiny rings.
Oh, good guess.
But not right.
Well, we can find out.
All right.
Find out later on today. But yeah, look, the final boss is coming to handle business, deliver a big.
If you like it, then you should have built a ring in it. Oh, stay tuned for WrestleCulture. Sorry. Shouldn't do that.
The final boss is coming to handle business, deliver a big, beautiful gift to the city of New Orleans, WrestleMania 42.
Yep.
And F up a certain someone's life with the final boss gospel. Shh. That's the emoji. Shh. That's the emoji he's used. He's the best, and he's like the best ever.
It's the hype is at the ace. The DOGG and the ROCK coming together, the dream team, apparently.
Road Dogg's the best booker ever. Booker of the year's been wrapped up.
It's managed to secure The Rock.
Great SmackDown last week. The Rock this week. Coast from then.
Booker of the year. Imagine the graphic. It's Road Dogg. But if he's like a 98 or a 95 when he's a roadie, like, hey, dreadlocks everywhere. Booker of the year, me? It's huge. It is huge. It's we've been here before, and it
Monday, could well be just announced WrestleMania next year. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I know we have to kind of like show a little bit of responsibility in our coverage there. This could be nothing more.
I think it might be too late for that.
Do you think it's too far gone for us to be responsible in our SmackDown coverage, Nicholas?
I feel like you might have. The ship might have sailed a little bit.
I don't know.
Before we do that, I do want to give a shout out to WhatCulture's very own, the lovely Scott Carlson, who, along with Brian pointing out the appropriate 20 steps ahead thing, Scott pointed out the Vegas 2024 press conference, which, yes, I will be watching on my lunch break today. Thank you very much. Came 58 days before WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Rock's on SmackDown 57 days before WrestleMania 41.
So that means nothing then.
Countdown, mate. I want to tell you.
So next year it's going to be 56 days.
Exactly. That he destroys WrestleMania. And also, yeah, shout out to Christopher Kocher, who reminded me today when the announcement dropped was the 20th. Like you said, everyone who saw this news and thought, that's Wilbourn.
20.
And also shout out to the newest member of X, Oderick Trong.
Well,
who's just tweeted me, "You're welcome." So apparently he had something to do with this.
So was he across this? Was he? Is he one of your sources? Have you just given the game away there?
I cannot reveal my sources.
Oderick Trong's in the business, isn't he? So
Microphone, Oderick Trong.
Microphones on Twitter now.
He is.
They're all coming out of the woodwork now that The Rock's back on SmackDown, aren't they? I guess that's what he does. He drives business.
At Microphone WC, by the way, if you want to follow him.
Who is it? Who is it? It's one of yours.
Oderick Trong.
It's one of yours.
Oderick Trong, spelt the way you'd expect. You missed Oderick Trong.
Yeah, I did.
Who knows when he'll show his face again? This isn't, a weekly booking like Stacks.
Oh God, I was like looking in the mirror over there. I've seen some still images of Oderick Trong. I'm yet to truly experience.
He brought back a feature, which I thought was dead and buried, but apparently he's big into his riddles.
Oh, Jesus
Oderick
Christ.
Trong.
Are we bringing that back?
As he describes himself on X, the whimsical Riddler rapscallion, hashtag indubitably.
Indubitably?
Yes.
Is that one of his things?
He sounds a little
He doesn't
bit,
do bits.
Sounds a little bit like me reading Keith Lee's promos back in the day.
Oh, yeah. But I bet you, this is interesting. So hang on. Let me try and get this in my head. If he sounds a bit like you reading Keith Lee, it probably sounds a bit like a character that only appeared once in all of WhatCulture history. It was only in an advert as well.
Yeah.
It was a character. You I don't know where you were. You probably won't remember. It was called the Strange Doctor.
Yeah, I remember him.
So he sounds quite like the Strange Doctor.
He dresses quite a lot like him, I'll be honest, mate.
Right.
You know, you picture Oderick Trong, what do you think? You think giraffe head and the anonymous mask and a doctor's coat.
I definitely do. But based on...
Also available on Cameo if you want to book him. Do it through me.
Oh, God. It's just you've opened up a revenue stream. Hang on. Are you taking Oderick Chong's Cameo money then?
He hasn't got, he's a whimsical Riddler rapscallion. He hasn't got a bank account.
Right.
I just redirect funds to him.
Because you've been doing that with Stacks as well, haven't you?
Yeah, help him out if he needs
How
it.
have you become like the Cameo? Like, I'm on Cameo as well.
Yeah.
Like, search Michael Hamflett on Cameo if you want me for anything. But I've not get with the admin of all these other people that come in as our guests.
I just like helping out other people.
I mean,
mate.
speaking of the admin of these things, it would be fascinating to watch Dr. Fed and Oderick Trong try to do a cameo at the same time. Because,
You really would.
I'm pretty sure there's only one doctor's jacket in this room.
Sure would be interesting. I don't know how you'd get those two guys in a room together at the same time, though.
I thought I was watching this because I had to nip out, and I thought you were going to get to meet him, but it turns out it was just a box with a face on it.
I did see that as well, and I was shocked because I was like, hang on, I'm not here. How am I, I know they've shot this today.
And then I had to nip out for the NXT review as well. It was a hectic day on Wednesday.
One of the kids...
I had to take yesterday off.
One of the kids was watching it over my shoulder as I was watching it, and they're like, Dad, but you're here. And there. It was very weird. Yeah, if Oderick Trong sounds quite a lot like the Strange Doctor, do you have... Because you've got a, let's be fair, terrible sax impression.
Awful.
You got an Oderick Trong impression.
You've really put me on the spot there, haven't you?
Yeah. Why?
Huh?
You love doing voices. You're a funny guy.
The whimsical Riddler rapscallion. It's rubbish.
It's Triple H.
Yeah, does he? Got to get in character.
It's rubbish. That is terrible.
Got a headache.
Nobody can ever accuse you of being Oderick Trong with that terrible voice. Do indubitably in your Oderick Trong voice.
Indubitably.
Useless.
You know, that's why I didn't go into theatre.
Yeah. You went into law and journalism.
That's why I jumped ship from radio as well. This is my calling.
Nobody could believe you had to they wanted the Chris Evans zoo effect of the studio, but it was a tight budget, so they just needed you to play all the characters.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, producer Jane? It sure is, Adam. And then you have to move to different parts of the studio.
See, we have the zoo effect here, but that's only because we've got Nelly the Elephant and Judgment Daisy over there.
I hate the Rock.
Oh, Judgment Daisy's not a fan.
Judgment Daisy's made a choice. Probably because she never got her residuals from featuring in his song Pie on WWE.
Of course.
So I'm walking down the farm and I'm f***ing up a cow or whatever his words are, and then you just hear and then it gets real dark.
Yeah.
Like The Rock doesn't want that song coming up. Don't listen to that on Spotify today and give him the streams because... Yeah, maybe that's is that even on Spotify at this point? Because it's offensive.
By the way, Brian, I've seen obviously the many people who photoshopped Jey Uso's face into Cody's spot. By the way, from last year,
He looks so sad, doesn't he?
if we could have our faces, one of me looking ecstatic and one of you looking rather grumpy over that magnificent man's shoulder.
It was the thing is, I'm not hyped for this. I don't know if he's going to do anything. I've got to measure my expectations for, as we already talked about, responsibility of coverage. It is the SmackDown preview after all. But because of Netflix, I've got to measure my expectations. I'm excited. I'm excited to see The Rock. I'm excited that he used the phrase F somebody's life up when he was on about dropping gospel and whatever that is. And even if that's setting something up for WrestleMania 42 rather than WrestleMania 41, it's something. akin to what we were expecting when he landed on Netflix, not what we actually got, which was him tearing up all the plans, setting fire to all.
Or so you thought.
All the cool stories that he ruined. He could unruin some of that tonight, is what I'm saying. Like,
or he could talk for 15 minutes and not say anything.
That as well.
That'd be really, really funny if he just turned up as, Jimmy Kimmel, Dwayne Johnson again.
Yeah.
Like, I prayed for this.
The final Dwayne.
No, objectively, I am excited whenever Dwayne's around. I don't like him, but I know business. I get it.
Whose life does he want to F up? Cody Rhodes. Let's candidates. Cody Rhodes.
Funny.
And
by extension there, Cena and CM Punk.
You shook hands and shared a drink with him. Yeah, CM Punk, next one. Because, well, the ultimate law of how does CM Punk not end up in WrestleMania main events, they have a lot to do with The Rock.
Turns out, by the way, if this happens, by the way, I'm the biggest fan of triple threats you've ever seen in your entire goddamn life.
Yeah. Low-key, life getting effed up tonight could be Seth Rollins. Because in all the confusion and chaos of what this WrestleMania card's going to look like, most people have put Roman and Seth together. And if Rock's like, no, we're bloody doing it this year. I wanted Roman last year, and I mean, what I wanted was for the fans to have the show they wanted. But I wanted Roman last year, and he's just getting it this year. And he spat his dummy out on that. And they're like, but Seth. And the Rock's going to be like, but who? Get him the out my face. Yeah. He's not going to care about Seth Rollins one bit. And then all of a sudden, he's just taking a spot, and it's The Rock versus Roman Reigns. And they're like, you realise that Roman Reigns is selling serious injury, so serious he can't enter the chamber, as inflicted upon him by Seth Rollins. And he's going to be like, redo the footage, pretend The Rock did it. So they Photoshop Seth's stomp and like video edit it with AI or whatever and turn it into The Rock hitting people's elbow.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that was when The Rock took Roman Reigns out of the Royal Rumble.
We all remember it.
Yeah. So then the next person whose life he's effing up is Kyle O'Reilly, because he's got to get back in the studio and edit it all together. A lot of lives getting effed up by the final boss. It's
Jey Uso, you haven't even mentioned yet, by the way.
I think Jey Uso's fine in all of this.
It would be funny if he's like, I'll be fighting Gunther, thank you very much. I don't think it's going to happen, by the way.
Yeah. I think Jey Uso's all right in this one. The Rock's here on SmackDown business.
He could also, like you say, he could completely rip up the WrestleMania 41 card again.
Yeah.
He could simply be there to say, I'll be at WrestleMania 41 with an eye on certain matches or whatever. And we'll talk a little bit about whatever's going on with the new Bloodline in a second, because their match is still advertised on WWE.com, so we'll talk about it.
Yep.
And he could just say, yeah, I'm going to be fighting Roman at 42, for example. Or just, I've been chosen as the person to announce that 42 is coming from New Orleans.
That's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. They're there tonight, obviously.
New Orleans, they're going to be an amazing pop for it. They might reveal a logo. New Orleans has historically, in recent times at least, been like a kind of iconic WrestleMania city, had 30 and 34. They know what they're doing with WrestleMania in terms of the stadium stage, and it feels well set for that.
Yeah.
Like, after weeks
However you feel about it, this is the thing, you can't not watch.
Totally. And that's ultimately part of what made the Netflix thing so exciting in the build and so disappointing in the aftermath, was that a lot of people did gather round whatever it was The Rock was going to say, and almost universally, other than you, but then you had more information. As we've now been able to explain, you had access to different information. Like, everyone else was disappointed, and you just didn't want to spoil it for everyone. You had to let us sit with the disappointment in order for today's excitement.
On that roller coaster.
That's it, yeah. You kept these cards so close. I'm very impressed, actually. You kept these cards as close to your chest. SmackDown last week was a good show. For one of the only times thus far in 2025.
Disagree.
It will be captivating again tonight, and it could, theoretically now, if The Rock's got anything to do with it, or if any of the characters whose life he wants to F up tonight, feature prominently on the road to WrestleMania, already stands to make SmackDown must-see between now and WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I can't think of a more must-see edition than where they've typically started putting the Andre Battle Royal, and might indeed put some WrestleMania undercard matches the way this card's going, than the go-home edition of SmackDown.
We have to watch that.
You couldn't miss it, could you?
No.
You couldn't possibly miss it. The problem is, right, it's at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Big venue.
Pricey, though.
Pricey. Really pricey. And likely to sell out. WWE is a hot ticket. Boiling hot, in fact. But
the tea's hot.
The tea, and indeed the coffee, is piping hot. However, Wilbourn, I have got just the thing for you.
Right.
And just the thing for you. Because the What Culture Wrestling World Tour is going to be capped off by the biggest and best watch-along of SmackDown in all of Las Vegas. The go-home edition of SmackDown on Friday, the 18th of April, one night before WrestleMania Night 1. We're going to be doing a SmackDown watch-along on the preposterously big screen at the beautiful HyperX Arena. It's the biggest and most ambitious show we've ever done. So please come and join us. Be a part of What Culture history. There's going to be a live show beforehand where you get stuff like this. Egg. On the stage. Beforehand. Yeah, all of that. And all the other buttons as well. And the man pressing them in Adam Wilbourn. And who knows, maybe Oderick Trong might make an appearance. We might be able to advertise stacks, who knows. But yeah, so we're going to do all of that sort of stuff. Then there's going to be the aforementioned amazing SmackDown watch along. We cannot wait for that. If you get VIP tickets, you'll get the best seats in the house with access to like a sideways bar. You'll be able to watch it
please.
with us. And then afterwards...
You're joking. Not another one?
That's right, another one, because Simon Miller's going to be doing ups and downs of that SmackDown for YouTube that you can be a part of. You can call you part of the video that you can do with Simon Miller. And then me or him are going to do a WrestleMania 41 preview on the stage as well. Bingo! Before the remainder of the night plays out, where what happens at What Culture Live stays at What Culture Live. Basically, that just means drinking, getting pictures taken, asking questions, talking fantasy booking, spending the night, having the crack with the ABAs. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. The biggest and daftest live show we've ever done. A full night of entertainment in Las Vegas. April the 18th at the HyperX Arena. And it main events the first ever What Culture World Tour.
Oh! Teachable moment! Teachable moment!
I don't know why it's a teachable moment, but it's teaching us some lessons. That's why we're plugging it as hard as we are, because we're going to be in Manchester, Belfast, Glasgow, and London. We're not doing that, but WWE are going to be in town, so we will be too. There's going to be the perfect pre-shows to all these WWE events. What was that?
You all right? From
Please come. WhatCulture.com/ticket. There we go. WhatCulture.com/tickets.
Looks like we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
It's also in partnership with Sweet Chin Disco, myself and Mark Henry. Along with
off. The What Culture World Tour is the main event, but also take Mark Henry. Also taking place is Wilbourn's thing, which is awesome too. But I won't get that right across there.
If you want to get tickets for Sweet Chin Disco, there will be another massive guest being announced very soon for that one. But don't join us for the World Tour. WhatCulture.com.
It's in the final post.
WhatCulture.com/tickets.
This concludes the plug-in section. That was excellent plug-in.
Now, The Rock is going to be in attendance for tonight's SmackDown. And he's been...
just do this.
Segue.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about The Rock.
Am I asleep?
No, this is a segue because he's been heavily involved in the Bloodline story.
A segue.
And
those rumbles.
The new Bloodline are in action tonight. Solo Sikoa, Jacob, Fatu, and Tama Tonga. Yeah. That's how I reacted to the Dwayne news. Take it on Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, and Braun Strowman. It all factors in, of course. There was the Priest, Strowman, Fatu, awesome triple threat last week that Priest won to qualify for the Chamber. Cody Rhodes got involved. Braun Strowman and Fatu have obviously got their history. There was the accidental Samoan spike by Solo to Tama Tonga. I love this, and I think the path is clear for Fatu and Solo heading to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
until The Rock got announced.
Yeah, it was one of the few matches that felt pretty much nailed on, and now you just don't know, do you? There's loads going on here. Even to the point where last week when SmackDown went off the air, you had Cody and Damian Priest staring at the WrestleMania sign together. And Priest is going to win the Chamber, but it's like they absolutely have to book it as if he thinks he can. It's the same with Drew McIntyre. Like, he's the odd man out here because last week he was literally in the middle of Cody and Jacob and was like, no, you do it yourself, Cody, seal it. And now he's got a bit of beef with Damian Priest going into the Chamber. It's nice TV booking this. Braun Strowman, can he coexist with Damian Priest having lost that triple threat, or is he angry enough with Jacob Fatu to stay on the right side of things with the baby faces? Hopefully so. Can the Bloodline get a win because Braun Strowman is pinnable going into Chamber and thus vindicate Solo getting Jacob back on side and being like, see, everything's fine. We got The Rock coming in. He's like us both, if anything. Like, he shook Roman's hand. Shut up. Like, he's able to, for the time being, maintain a shaky control over the New Bloodline, over whatever they're called now, even though we know we're going to Jacob and Solo at WrestleMania. What I'm looking for here is clues to how on earth they can make Solo the babyface for this match. Because it feels like that's the dynamic they want.
I don't know.
He arrives all in white last week. Jacob's a killer.
Yeah, that's fun.
And you could imagine them thinking about a summer series of Jacob Fatu programs, potential like early title runs, who knows? But with him as like this terrifying heel. But he's just becoming one of the more popular wrestlers in the whole company.
Yeah.
So do you like try and find your way back to your original plan of Solo as the babyface, or do you just accept the wave of support behind Jacob and like let the fans love him and let him like not embrace the support, but just be? We've always said this, one of those babyface turns that instead of kicking babyface asses, he kicks heel ones instead, and that's how he turns. Like, I'm keen to see that. How will this match be agented? Will it be agented to favour how awesome Jacob is, or will it be like agented to make Solo look like a guy that's like fighting with his guts and doing his best? That'll be the thing to look for.
Yeah, I don't know who. It's between two people getting pinned in this match. 4 people you can rule out. It's not Solo. It's obviously not Jacob Fatu. Priest, Cody. It could be Tama Tonga.
Yeah.
They could lose easily. You set up...
All the more reason for Jacob to be like, we're rubbish with you, mate.
You set up Braun and Jacob, let's say, brawling off into the crowd. They won't stop fighting. They have a match at the Chamber. Because there's 3 matches booked for that right now?
Yeah.
If
you include the unsanctioned.
4. Yeah, sorry, including... because we've got to get to the Tiffy one in a second. So there's space for one more. There's obviously not going to be a Gunther title match on there. Same Cody. It's because it seems like they sort of put pay to that. Don't worry, it's not Solo versus Cody one more time.
Yeah.
What I'd like is tonight is Solo basically saying, we win the match tonight, I'm completely justified in fighting Cody Rhodes for the title again. And people go, oh no, and then they lose.
Oh, that's good, yeah. Like comes out at the start of the show maybe, or like suggests that we are...
I think one person will be coming out at the start of this show.
That's a fair point. And that's for the best, because, I mean, imagine if they left time like they did in NXT. No, we're just going to cut the main event off.
Yes.
I need as much time as I need, thanks very much.
Could I possibly interject at this exact moment? Seeing as how you brought him back up organically, I didn't do that, you did. Question, potentially could be a game if you wanted to press the button.
It's time to play the game! Time to play a game! Ha 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 ha!
What is The Rock going to do with his fingers tonight?
Ooh. So we've had We the Ones L.
Yeah.
We've had knife, gun, throat slit.
Yep. 5 years of implied finger blasting. That was what pie was about, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't eating. Ripped and chiseled back then. He was on about fingering.
Just bring it. That was fingers,
Just,
right? Technically.
just bring it.
Yep.
Trying to work out, like...
It's 4 fingers, mate, and a thumb.
Maybe that? Is that anything?
Is that anything? He's
going to do shadow puppetry with The Rock.
Hey, what? Rock can do a rabbit. Rock can do the Playboy bunny. I
can spell blood with my fingers. He could do that.
Do that. Oh, that impresses me.
Takes me a while. Hang on, leave it with me.
Yeah. What could The Rock do with his fingers? We really want to see those fingers. He could swear.
Is that? You see that?
I can.
Does that spell blood?
It does now.
Put line underneath it.
Why not? Isn't that like a gang thing? I'm sure all the comments are talking you about like a gang saying last time.
I'm not gang affiliated.
Well, you are wearing purple as well, so I mean, it's like...
Represent!
On the edit, Nicholas, would you be able to write a word over blood?
No.
Like,
no.
Scribble out on a hand so it says food or something.
It's got WrestleCulture later.
Flood.
Well, I've got work to do, mate.
Someone will screenshot it and do it. They're good.
Brian, can you pick a word that you might like?
He's got to Photoshop us with The Rock. Someone else. Let's spread the work around.
I don't want to take that responsibility from Brian.
Or just
Brian,
lay in Photoshop back.
I refuse to.
Yeah, why don't you do it?
I have worked here 8 years. I ain't about to start now.
What, working?
Hey!
Yeah, food or something, or flood, or anything. Just to get Wilbourn out of trouble, because I forget that gets him in bother. I just think it's impressive. You got any other words in there?
I don't know.
Dog.
I'm still wearing my Spyrites wrist. I should probably cut this off. I look like a 20-year-old who's just come back been at a festival. I'm not sure if you've noticed.
Festerfield.
Shout out to Leangate Valves, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
I'm probably going to cut this off this weekend.
What would be the only available drinks at Festerfield?
VK, obviously.
Of course, every single flavour. What was your favourite flavour of VK, Nicholas, in your VK drinking years?
Christ.
For VK, Jason.
Did you like the taste of blue?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't think it was flavour. It was just colour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Blue was a classic. You can't really go wrong with blue, can you?
VK Ice.
VK Ice.
When you were making
Do you
turbo
think they
shandies.
started with VK
Good.
Blue because they were based in Chesterfield?
I do now.
And they were like, well, obviously, we're...
Yeah.
Is that a bit low, is it? Is that...
Yeah, so when we were out in Chesterfield the other week, every bar had surprisingly reasonable offers on VK. We drank a lot of it. Had a real like vintage alcohol hangover on the Sunday.
Of course you did.
Wilbourn's wife was buzzing. She loved
she's loving the drive
that
home.
crack.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard mine?
It is like that's your perfect version of this. I mean, I know that most alcohol can have like carbonation in it, but like pop and alcohol is like your...
Yeah.
It was a real throwback for me. There was when I used to go to Club XS in Scarborough. Recently mentioned on this podcast with my friend Dapper, named, of course, because he was tall.
No, that's what that means.
We used to go, we'd go when we were 16, and if we went between 10 and 11, it seemed like the security was a bit lax. So we'd get in, and
Hide in the toilet.
between 10 and 11, there was an offer on bottles of Mets. If you remember, again, another Alcopop, £1 a bottle. And we're like, we're on this system. And you just line up like 8 bottles.
Mets with a Z, like the football team.
Yes. Spend...
Not the popular baseball team, right?
No, yeah, with a Z, indeed. The fat end of a tenner on a table full of Mets. And we just drink them until we were pissed. And then that would be a nice drinking drunk to be able to enjoy the rest of our evening.
To not talk to anyone.
Oh, God, no, yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
God forbid we attempted to try and impress anybody in the club with our abilities by this point. Not that they existed. We were 16-year-old losers. But we were happy and drunk.
18-year-old losers.
It was an upstairs...
39-year-old.
I don't know, 30.
39-year-old legends. The upstairs room had it was like pop, dance, mainstream, people capable of having sex. And then downstairs was rock, comfort zone. What have you bothered wearing a Top Man shirt for? Because you're with goths. You're happy you're here. Different time.
Farts covered up by smoke.
Oh, God, I miss tabs and clubs. Oh, yeah. Never smoked a cigarette in my goddamn life, but I miss tabs and clubs to this day. There was a time, younger viewers and listeners, even though we're all in our 30s, where pubs, bars, clubs and the like did not remotely smell of the piss on people's trousers or the farts from their arses. No. Everything smelled like tabs.
Farts from their arses. Morrissey.
That's good stuff. It was better. The boy with the horn, as in like a toot of a horn fart, from his brown eye. What? Nope. This farting man.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Any more?
I've just got... I would go out tonight, but I farted, then I myself.
There is a and it wasn't a fart.
And it never comes out.
Come on.
You were so close.
Chesterfield playing Swindon
Meat
this
is
weekend.
murder on your arse.
Chesterfield Swindon this weekend. Big game, that. We are rapidly slipping away from the playoff places. Swindon, of course, the site of one of our finest triumphs. Not Swindon itself. We played them in the JPT final to win the biggest trophy, some people say, of all time.
I think it's the most important trophy, the most prestigious trophy in the game.
Managed by Sunderland legend Paolo Di Canio, as I recall. Who you got this weekend?
We are at home to Hull City.
Rawr, the Tigers.
Getting mauled by the Tigers. Hope we're not. I'm taking my brother-in-law this weekend, who is from Wigan. So I don't really know what football is there.
Is that like rugby, but with a rounder ball?
Where's the ball the wrong
Oh, they're
shape?
doing rubbish. Sorry, Hull City fans. You're 1 point away from the relegation zone. You should smash them.
Well, you think that, wouldn't you? But automatic promotion feels like it's frittering away, and we will be in the playoffs most likely in that slot that nobody wants, where you slipped into it and you get easily beaten by the team that creep up the league. Tony Mowbray's West Brom would be the ones for me, not Middlesbrough. I don't want to go up. I don't want to go up. We played Leeds on.
Drinking as you said that.
I love the chase of promotion, not achieving it.
You like your striker, don't you? Wilson, is he? Can't play the theme.
No, you can't.
Copyright
Can't play the song we all sing for Wilson Isidore. No, he will get sold if we don't get promoted. I was reminded of WhatCulture's very own James Heppel this week. He popped into the office. He's a Sunderland fan, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I explained that I didn't want us to get promoted. I just like this. I like that we win most weeks, and yeah, you lose sometimes, but you win more than you don't. And I got a couple of kids, and it's just nice to take them to games and we win. And then he, behaving like an adult, actually cared about the success of his team, was like, yeah, if we don't get promoted, we'll sell him, and we'll have to start all over again.
Bellingham's younger brother plays you, doesn't he?
Joe Bellingham will go. There's loads of players that have actually been pretty good this season. They'll all get sold. We'll have no money. The teams that come down from the Premiership will have even more. They've got the parachute.
Premiership, all right, Grandad.
What did I say that for? I heard that and I hated myself. I hated myself when I said that. I'm
The
sick of
only
this.
good thing about the Premiership was the ITV ITV coverage, with
And because I'm
beautiful
Grandad, I
day by
hated that.
Beautiful day by U2.
Yeah, that means nothing to me. That I hated that.
Oh,
I watched their first episode because we all remember the Andy Townsend tactics truck.
I do, and also because it was on ITV, I always remember. I can't remember. It was like some program did like. Let's hear the coverage from ITV. Right, let's go over to today's game. It's a goal, 1-0. Then back after the ads.
Ads. Saturday tea time.
Try and sneak a swear in then.
Yeah, I did.
He definitely did.
Held it back. It's too late. It's all gone to pieces since I said Premiership. I like tea time football on ITV.
Yes, that's where it went to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, before that, responsible coverage.
Solid gold before that.
Responsible coverage.
Speaking of responsible coverage, let's talk more about SmackDown tonight.
SmackDown tonight.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because the man behind I Prayed for This and It Happened, Drew McIntyre, is on the show, as well as another member of the Bloodline, Big Jim, who is out for revenge. Well, he kind of got it last week when he attacked Drew for suggesting the only thing he's done good in his life is marry Naomi.
That was good. The super kick was funny, wasn't it?
It was great.
They're fighting tonight.
Yes.
Good for them.
Well, allegedly.
Good for them.
All going well timings-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, what'd you do it? Like, are they just going to not do a finish? Because they've been into that a bit lately, and then it's, oh yeah, Road Dogg is back.
I think he beats Big Jim. Big Jim's going to eat a few losses. Gunther's going to kick his ass on the road to WrestleMania as well.
Because Big Jim had a little bit of business for Carmella Hayes, but it didn't feel like something longer, did it?
No.
Because Mello
That was great, though.
Yeah, Mello could screw him and help Drew, but it doesn't feel like that's necessarily there for the long haul. I like the idea of Drew McIntyre really roughing up Jimmy Uso as well. I think you can use him. He might not get a WrestleMania match, but they might be able to really help Jey Uso and Gunther with how much violence is enacted upon.
He could be the counter to Ludwig Kaiser.
Totally.
Tonight.
Yeah. There's a nice...
Like him coming out with his brother at WrestleMania after everything that happened last year.
Yeah.
That's
Be good,
lovely.
isn't it? Gunther-
Not to
Gunther,
dismiss him. I love Big Jim, but...
Gunther bloodying him up or something for heat ahead of the Mania. He's like, look how easy it was for me to destroy your brother. Look how easy it was for me to beat you at Saturday night's main event. And then he returns at Mania, and he's got like Jey Uso's getting ready to go out. You see, they're like when they shoot him in the crowd somewhere in Allegiant Stadium. He's in one of those stands, hopefully near us. Can you imagine that? Jey Uso coming out, and you're just there going, ee. But then he's about to get one of the kids. Come on, let's go. But then there's Jimmy, and he puts the garland over him.
Oh.
He comes down with him together.
Yeet no yeet punch exchange for Jay and Gunther during the match.
Yes. But as a result, he needs to lose to Drew tonight.
Yeah. Drew obviously is building up his hype because this is, of course, The Rock coming back is completely. This is the go home to the go home, right? For Elimination Chamber, it's next weekend.
Oh God, yeah. Because it's 1st of March, isn't it? And it's 28th of February. Oh, goodness me, where is the time going?
Yeah, it's going to be a bad night for Jimmy Uso. Although interactions with potentially the new bloodline / the final boss?
Well, again, I don't know if we've brought it up, but The Rock's on this SmackDown. And the cool thing about him doing what he wants is that we can preview it with like reckless abandon, the type of thing we wouldn't normally do on the SmackDown preview. We can just make the most out there, outlandish statements, and some of them might even come true. That's the reality of The Rock working these shows. The other side of that coin is that you can come up with a bunch of different ways The Rock interacts, like you've just done in your head now. And none of it happens because he drops no gospel at all and then leaves.
Yes. This probably wouldn't work if, like we anticipate,
if the rules of the universe are in play, and they are.
The final boss comes out first. This doesn't really work, but you could still do it, I suppose, one way or another. So we get the usual footage of like, look who's here. Here's Cody Rhodes arriving. Here's, the new bloodline, whatever. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Uso, either then or later on in the show as he's doing a backstage interview or just setting up to do the, walk through to Gorilla, whatever. He's walking backstage and he walks past the dressing room and on the sign, it reads the Tribal Chief. And he thinks, oh, I didn't realise Roman was back.
He's still not had his tribal acknowledgement ceremony that was booked for the 28th of January.
He walks in. He walks in. The Rock's just sat in there. I mean...
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. The chair's like a little bit higher than Roman's chair.
It's a bit bigger.
Like Taskmaster sort of
thing. Gold chair, if anything.
I've just been thinking of, when Sid said that Seth Rollins was holding on to the shield, like clinging on to the cream. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So cream rises to the top and Seth Rollins was just holding on to the cream. I am imagining the Drew McIntyre just desperately trying to talk to The Rock backstage, being like, this is my ticket. This is how I get.
Yeah.
Like, remember when we did the sword thing? Like, we're friends, right? And he's like, get me up the card, boss.
Rock's like, did you work it?
Yeah. Are you again?
How's Raw going for you? I moved weeks ago. Did you? Now, speaking of WrestleMania, one thing we know is...
You shut your ass, that f***ing stinks. Sorry. It's getting me.
Remember when you used to be Galloway?
I am human and that really stinks.
Oh, fear's the direction that you can
Hand in glove, what's that smell out of your brown eye? So stay in my ass, you little farter.
One thing we definitely know is on the WrestleMania card, though, Michael Hamflett, is the winner of the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, Charlotte Flair.
Burn down my ring piece. That's it. Sorry, no more.
Versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
She called her shot last week. We also found out last week that we are getting Tiffy and Trishy at Elimination Chamber. Any developments with that this week? I really hope The Rock doesn't screw this one.
It's just like, women in the first hour.
I'll be fighting Tiffany Stratton. Thank you very much.
Trish. Well, I was going to say Trish won't be here, but...
Oh, can you imagine if Trish and Rock had a little moment backstage?
He would love that. Oh my God, Elimination Chamber. We've been talking all this time about John Cena's last Royal Rumble, John Cena's last WrestleMania, John Cena's last World Title, whatever. John Cena's last in-ring erection.
Ah!
He had one when he tag teamed with Trish that time.
He sure did.
Big old visible boner through the jorts.
Well, they don't have this button for no reason, mate. Hang on. Pay attention, please. Full time once I find it.
Oh. I thought you that's like I do John Cena's dick. Yeah, he gets a erection at Elimination Chamber and gets distracted by it and gets eliminated.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take it if it means Punk wins the Chamber, to be honest. I'll take anything at this point.
How did you get to live your dream main event at WrestleMania? Cena got stiffy. Oh.
That's the favour he calls in from Paul Heyman. Make him get a stiffy.
Send Trish out. No, I was going to say she won't be at SmackDown tonight, but then maybe she is. Like, she didn't, because she's obviously working Toronto, hometown, everything like that. But it's not like the story started in Canada. Like, she works the Rumble, she works last week SmackDown. Maybe she's on the road for the duration when she's come in and done this stuff before, like the Becky Lynch story. She's been in all the way. So, the two of them tonight, they will do. Road Dogg's got the friggin' pencil.
And he's not put a foot wrong so far.
But I remember Road Dogg booking where makeup tutorials. Now they'll probably do a bit of a skit where Trish and Tiffany have to bond a little, and
they go shopping together. Jesus Christ!
They go shopping together. Trish is given the gift of Daddy's credit card because we haven't heard about Daddy for a while.
Yeah.
And then Trish is like, oh, great, we'll go and do yoga. Got a yoga studio down the road. They're going to do a bit of yoga.
Oh, my God.
Into yoga?
Yeah, big yoga fan, me.
Yeah, you ever talk about it?
Don't like to. You know me, I'm quiet, reserved type. So
That's what yoga does for you.
Yeah.
Keeps you at peace. Who's your favourite yoga teacher on YouTube? See a few of those videos on the old
it's just whoever's trending, really.
Right.
Yeah, whoever's most flexible. That's the one I want to.
Big fan of Yoga Bear. That's it.
Yeah.
Big fan.
I have, full disclosure, I have got a
Discussing timeline because of the algorithm?
no, a yoga person subscribed on my YouTube because Anne Louise watches it. My wife.
Right, yeah.
And I'll just make sure what she's watching is all appropriate.
I see,
really.
right, yeah.
So I'll find out her name whilst you talk
You
about.
subscribe to Yoga Hub Premium, do you?
That's my favourite yoga theme, to be honest.
Any thoughts?
No, none at all.
They'll do skits and bits to bond them a little bit, and then the TV, which we're watching, miraculously won't show Nia Jax and Candice LeRae watching that TV. As Nia Jax pulls one of her funny faces, just you suck, and then that'll be the build for this week.
Rachel's Fit Pilates. That's who I'm subscribed to, apparently. Oh, I'll tell you what, look at that. I'm looking at that. It's on my.
That's what I'm subscribed to, apparently.
It's on my subscriptions there, along with, you can verify this, along with a variety of different WhatCulture channels. WhatCulture Main. There's 8 movies that ended too soon. WhatCulture Wrestling, of course, where I rip the audio for the podcast. And then there's the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast channel, and there's a video here called Best Match Ever. What's this?
I like what you've done here a great deal. We don't
You
do.
thought I was subscribed to Rachel's Fit Pilates because I'm a perv.
We don't do bits on this podcast, and based on earlier on, we don't do plugs. But I'm going to try here. Best Match Ever is a new series that's recently landed on the WhatCulture Wrestling podcast channel, produced beautifully, I might add, by Adam Nicholas, where myself and Michael Sidgwick go back through and take a forensic deep dive into some matches that are considered the best matches ever. There's currently already episodes featuring Hulk Hogan versus The Rock from WrestleMania 18.
Oh, my God.
Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes from Double Nothing 2019.
Oh, my God.
And as of this weekend, a brand new episode, which I'm not going to spoil, is going to drop. But let's just say it's from a certain golden era that I am particularly fond of. And I would consider it one of, if not the most important matches of the 2010s. Yes, that's right. It's one of the Halloween Havoc NXT matches from the CWC.
Road.
But I won't, it's the Dexter Lumis one with the zombie referee. But you'll have to wait and see the deep dive for yourself, dropping every Sunday, WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel.
Finally, there's just the small matter of the tag team titles being on the line tonight, all going well with Rock's promo, etc.
Every day hurts my bum day.
It is the champs DIY versus, and my God, what would it be like if these boys had an interaction with the final boss?
Everybody on the
Backstage.
show, there's a lineup of people. Hello, right? Like just a,
Hello, Dwayne.
I
the
was
Key and Peele
looking
sketch.
for the rock, then I found the rock. And heaven knows I'm miserable now.
Opposite of miserable, if anything.
Try to spell it backwards.
I was pushing for a fart and then I did a fart.
Pretty deadly. Yes, boy! They're not winning the tag titles, but I really like this story they've been telling.
Yeah, they're not going to win the battles, but I'm with you. It's
Like the Street Profits coming back tonight.
oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Just come out and kick
They can meet The
everybody's
Rock.
ass. Then who knows what can happen?
No, genuinely, we love the Street Profits and we'd love to see them back.
This, like,
Because if they beat Pretty Deadly by hook or by crook or whatever, maybe shenanigans, because then that's potentially setting up the match we are not anticipating, but speculating could be 4-way ladder match. So they've beaten Motor City Machine Guns, again, via help through Street Profits, but both times they've cheated their way out of losing the titles.
Incredible win. And
do it again with Pretty Deadly. And the Street Profits will be like, that's it now. They're like, who's left? We've beaten everybody. Oh, Street Profits are here.
A slither of critical analysis on this podcast. Only a little bit.
Go on.
Only a little bit. One of the things about why the Road Dogg stinks and sucks is because when he was in charge of SmackDown for as long as he was, he would go online and just say the dumbest shit for a man in that position. And the big era of wins and losses don't matter was born out of Road Dogg's actual attitude towards booking, right? Proven wrong a gazillion times, but nonetheless, something that he held dear because he was big into the stories. And that's kind of the godfather of that. Another useless debate of like what's more important, stories, match. All of it.
Yes.
All of it is the answer. It's always been the answer. Wins and losses, stories, match quality. It's whole pie. The Rock. And the tag division, if Road Dogg, and a bit like their match last week where we were watching like a quite entertaining women's title match that you think, well, you can still do a finish if you wanted, and then they don't, and then it's revealed the Road Dogg's got the book back, and you're like,
But it did get us Trish and Tiff teaming up, so I'll allow it.
It got to somewhere. A lot of the time things get places, but this
I get
element of it is something he's not as fussed about, and he should be. What worries me here is that, like what you're pitching, the multi-man ladder match, it's an easy win at WrestleMania, all that kind of stuff, just to put them up. Lumber
It's not
roll in
easy.
there.
Ladder match, you kidding me?
I'm going to climb it rung by rung and get both belts down. It devalues everybody. It did then, and it would again here. Yes, DIY should beat Pretty Deadly. And yes, that would then, by the letter of the law, like sort of be able for them to say, oh, we've beaten them. There's nobody left for us to beat. Twist, you got to beat all of them. But what's it done? It's rendered those victories meaningless. Why? Because Road Dogg believes that wins and losses don't matter. And makes this division feel lower than and lesser than as a result. So that even when the Street Profits have got these cool vignettes and feel overnight reheated and back, and we're really excited for them, well, what are they doing? They're basically joining the loser division. Like, so that even the biggest winners are losers. And then it turns out wins and losses did matter all along. Like, DIY should win tonight. And there's a nice story that, like, Pretty Deadly have realised they're kind of being conned and have just been like, enough, we're going to win the titles. And then they don't win them tonight. But if we don't get a finish, or if Road Dogg thinks, this is great, I can protect all the teams at once, watch how little people will actually care for Street Profits climbing those ladders at WrestleMania. And yeah, they'll pop on the night, but how the division won't feel any further forward and how Street Profits won't feel further forward. They have to commit. They have to book this with conviction. DIY win. Pretty Deadly have fallen short, but like...
I'd like them to get a lot like DIY to be almost surprised by...
I like at least have the characters burst out now that they've kind of, like, what, quasi-baby faces because they've realised that Johnny Gargano was trying to screw them. Rematch it in the UK.
Yeah, we were saying this, weren't we? Yeah.
Like, where you get, this time they'll win, and now DIY win again.
London SmackDown, isn't it? Yeah.
Feels conclusive, like the business is over, but no, Pretty Deadly are going to get back on the horse. They're going to win a few more matches. They're going to earn their way back to WrestleMania, and at this point, the Street Profits are in the mix with the Guns. And you've actually got teams that people care about. You've got to at least provide finishes and wins and losses. Triple H has done it for the most part over the last 2 to 3 years. He's reconditioned people to expect winners and losers. I don't want the Road Dogg to take that away.
It's all very short notice. Well, if you believe that it's all come together very suddenly, and don't subscribe to the Cody knew about this for a long time. But if you are going to do a big show ahead of the go home to the other big show, i.e. Elimination Chamber next week, like, I'd have DIY beat Pretty Deadly, shenanigans, but not like, don't necessarily need to hold on to the ropes, for example. Just cutting corners, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they beat Pretty Deadly, but we all know, the ref didn't see the tag or whatever it may be. So they beat them, and I'd have them to do this because you want this to be a big momentum show. Everyone's going to be tuning in because of The Rock. Have them get on the mic after and see, that's what we do. Motor City Machine Guns, Los Garza, Pretty Deadly. We beat them. We beat everyone. We're the best tag team. And as promised last week, let's have a moment of silence for them. And that's when you bring back the Street Profits.
Yeah. Again, in a division where people are over and it feels a bit more dynamic, and I'm all in favour of that sort of thing. I'm all in favour of anything that ultimately straps the rocket to the Profits all over again. But you've got to prove it to people. these reactions and these matches are not generating that kind of hype. So you got to do the work to get there.
Also, The Rock said gospel and prophet is a word. It's not spelled the same way.
I was going to say he's not mixing in with every segment, but then he did like pretty much do that on NXT that time. So who knows? Like he hung out with Ethan Page and his daughter, so you never know.
Surprise. Not Ethan Page's daughter, his own.
Yeah, his
she
own
hasn't got
daughter,
a surname. She's the Rock's daughter.
Yeah.
General manager of NXT, Booker and Cooker of the Year.
That's right.
Until Road Dogg came along, apparently. But cannot wait for tonight. Let us know your thoughts ahead of SmackDown in the comment section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch, they can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow our long-suffering producer, Adam Nicholas, at
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts with Wrestle Culture complete with a hashtag Bloody Good quiz coming your way later on today. But for now, this has been the SmackDown preview where we've talked about WrestleMania plans potentially changing again. Jimmy Uso taking on Drew McIntyre, Cody Priest and Strowman versus the New Bloodline, if they're still called that. The tag team titles on the line, and of course, The Rock returns.
The SmackDown preview. It's got all this and the best member of the Smiths, Johnny Fart.
We'll see you soon.
Is that anything?